What's good, y'all? Trying to hear the most woke, no joke, and I'm back at it again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a BOBERRY biscuit with you. This is some big news. This is some huge news that might happen, might not happen, but I'm gonna still talk about it. Put up the tweet. I saw a tweet this morning from Bruce Feldman. He says, source, Johnny Manziel is expected to be the quarterback throwing to receivers at the University of San Diego's Pro Day today. This figures to be the first time NFL teams have had a chance to see the former first-rounder throw since his days with the Browns. Bro, I'm not even really sure how Johnny Manziel pulled this off, but this is some pretty big news because Johnny Manziel is going to be in front of some scouts for NFL teams, and he might find a way to slither his way back into the league, which figures to be maybe a pretty good opportunity for a team to pick him up on the cheap and take a chance on him. Johnny Manziel doesn't need money. Johnny Manziel doesn't really expect big money because he wants to have a prove it season to prove that he's mature and ready enough to be back in the league. And that got me thinking a little bit, where would Johnny Manziel be a good fit? He's a mobile quarterback who's been clutch in big moments, and has the media doesn't really seem to gravitate toward him, but they don't seem to really have a positive opinion on him. What other quarterback does that describe? Oh, Cam Newton. Cam's mobile. The media seems to like talking about him, but not really positively. And he does have a way of being like saying the wrong thing at the wrong time sometimes, and that can rub people the wrong way. He just doesn't really think before he says things sometimes. But he's getting more mature. And I think he will be the perfect quarterback to mentor Johnny Manziel. And honestly, and the bigger thing is, look, Derek Anderson didn't work out for us. He was good for a few years, beating the Bucks every year for us when we needed him to come in. But he just really didn't work out this past year, and I don't really think he just wasn't the move. If we can get Johnny Manziel on a cheap deal, on a cheap prove-it deal, that we don't have to actually commit to him for long term, I think Johnny Manziel could learn a lot from Cam. And if Cam goes down, I think Johnny would still work pretty well with our offense. We don't have like home run, like throw it deep type receivers like this Curtis Samuel, but most of our receivers they go to the inside, sit down in the zone, and we can get those 5 to 7 to 10 yard routes. And Johnny Manziel can go these progressions like that. He can find easy inside routes, go through these progressions, and even do some RPO, do some play action, do some read option. Like, we could do just about everything that Cam does, except he's not built. So I think he'd be a pretty good fit into our offense on a cheap deal. And we're gonna need another quarterback either way. And this way, we don't have to use a draft pick to go ahead and get a backup quarterback in like the 5th or 6th round. We don't have a 4th round pick, and our first 3 picks have to be two DBs and maybe a running back, or we go safety, lineman, running back. But we have to make sure that if we don't trade up to a 4th round pick, that we make sure that what we get in the first 3 rounds really matters, and we have to address our O-line sometime. So we need an O-lineman, and I think the closest, the soonest we get a quarterback is going to be the 6th round. And at that point, we may as well just take a chance at Johnny Manziel. If nothing else, then this Johnny Manziel pickup for the Panthers would be a pretty good mini-series in the offseason. Can you imagine this? Just picture this for a second. Diddy as our owner, Cam Newton our starting quarterback, mentoring Johnny Manziel. Bro, I would pay $9.99 a month just to watch them go around Charlotte, driving around Charlotte, talking to people, talking to each other in the car, going to like high schools. Can you imagine you're in high school and you're in class and the teacher's like, okay guys, we have 2 very special guests from the community coming to talk to us about, staying in school, making good decisions and stuff. Because they both had their issues in college with, I'm not gonna get into like Cam's issues in college, but you already know Johnny Manziel's issues. Can you imagine being in high school and your teacher's like, all right, we have 2 guests here today talking about making good decisions and whatnot. You're like, oh my god, bro. And then you see Cam Newton and Johnny Manziel walk in. Can you just imagine that? Cam Newton and Johnny Manziel. There's nothing I wouldn't watch There's nothing there's nothing they could do that I would not watch them do, and I pay for it too. So if nothing else, it will bring in a ton of revenue. I'm not really sure. I look at the stats of how many seats we're selling, the percent of seats we're selling each Sunday. I don't know if we're selling out our stadium every week, which I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that we're not selling it out. Though we may be, but I'm gonna take a wild assumption and say that we're not doing it. Johnny Manziel can bring that. Just the prospect of Johnny Manziel coming in. That would make, I mean, this is a really exciting time. And there's a lot of teams that do need backup quarterbacks. But I think that Johnny Manziel could really do well in our system with Cam Newton being his mentor. And that might be what Cam needs too. Everyone's talking about, Cam needs to be more mature, Cam needs to grow up, Cam needs to show that he can be a leader and whatnot, whatever. I think he's a pretty good leader. But just imagine just how much the narrative would change if Cam Newton was the person who could change and turn around Johnny Manziel. Just imagine that. Dude, Cam would be the athlete of the decade if he could be the one who turned around Johnny Manziel. Anyway, man, this is exciting for me. It probably won't happen, but just thinking ahead one time, have an open mind just for a second. Johnny Manziel on the Panthers. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. You already know to do with that like button. I got a button right here for you to subscribe and a button right here for you to watch more videos. Namaste. Back before you know it.